Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into Tesla's latest annual update because, honestly, the numbers are telling two completely different stories. On one hand, you've got slowing car sales, but on the other, there's this incredibly bold new vision for the future. So the big question is, what's really going on? Okay, let's just get right into it. The headline that's grabbing everyone's attention is the slowdown. I mean, for the first time in what feels like forever, Tesla's core auto business is shrinking. We're talking about a 9% drop in annual deliveries. Now, for a company that built its entire reputation on just insane, nonstop growth, that is a huge deal. But here's where it gets really interesting. If you listen to Tesla, they're telling a totally different story. They're basically saying 2025 wasn't a slowdown. It was a pivot, a critical year where they started to transition from being just a car company to becoming a, quote, physical AI company. So which is it? Are they in trouble, or are they about to change the game all over again?
To figure that out, we really have to look past the headlines and get into the numbers. And as you're about to see, the story they tell is a lot more complex and, frankly, a lot more interesting than you might think.
All right, let's get the tough one out of the way first. Automotive revenue. You know, the engine that pretty much built this company is down 10%. And look, that's a big hit. This is the one number that's fueling all the anxiety about where the company's headed. But here's the twist. While car revenue is down, Tesla's energy business was just absolutely on fire. We're talking a 27% jump in a single year. You have to understand, this isn't just some side project anymore. It's a massive multi-billion-dollar business that's proving the company is already way more than just cars. This chart right here really tells the whole story in one simple picture. You see that red bar for auto sales dipping down, right? But then look at the huge green bars for energy and services shooting up. This is the pivot right here in the financial data. You're watching a company shift its entire focus in real time. And even with that dip in car sales, let's be clear, Tesla is sitting on an absolute mountain of cash. Over $44 billion. That's not just a rainy day fund, that's a war chest. And it's the money they're using to fuel their next and probably their biggest bet yet. And that bet, it's all on AI. Tesla is going all in on artificial intelligence, and they're using that $44 billion to make it happen. This isn't just some new feature in a car. This is arguably the single biggest strategic shift the company has ever made. So what does that really mean? Well, it's a fundamental change in how Tesla even sees itself. They're saying, we're not just a hardware company that makes cars anymore. Instead, they're an AI company that puts that intelligence into physical things. The software, the brain, is becoming the main product, not just the car it happens to be in. And to do this, they're building their own specialized hardware. This is their new AI5 chip. It's custom silicon designed for one job. And it is a beast. We are talking about a 50 times performance improvement. That is the kind of massive leap you need to make fully autonomous systems a reality. And it's not just about the chips inside the cars. They're building this giant AI brain back in Texas, a massive data center just to process all the information their fleet is collecting. And get this, they're planning to double its raw thinking power, its compute capacity, in just the first half of next year. The more data it processes, the smarter the entire system gets. And on top of all that, they're not going it alone. They're dropping $2 billion to invest in xAI, which is one of the hottest AI companies on the planet. This is a huge move, and it really signals just how serious and how urgent this whole AI pivot is for them. So, what does all this AI talk actually mean for us? What does a physical AI company actually build? Well, let's take a look at the future product pipeline that this whole strategy is designed to create. First up is the Robotaxi. And look, this isn't some far-off science fiction dream. It is happening right now. They're already testing fully driverless cars, and I mean with no human safety monitor behind the wheel on the streets of Austin. This is a critical milestone, and it's happening way faster than a lot of people expected.
And this is the vehicle that's going to make it all happen. This is the purpose-built Cybercab. It's officially scheduled for volume production in 2026, and it's been designed from the ground up to completely change the economics of how we get around.
And they are not stopping with just moving people. The Tesla Semi is also set for 2026, and it's built to bring that exact same self-driving tech to the world of trucking and logistics. I mean, this could completely revolutionize how everything we buy gets from point A to point B. But the ambition goes even further. Enter Optimus, the humanoid robot. Okay, this is by far Tesla's most audacious project yet. They're planning to build a whole production line with the goal of eventually making 1 million of these things a year. Think about that. This isn't about changing transportation. This is about changing the very nature of labor itself. And again, this isn't some distant future. The company has a clear roadmap to expand its robotaxi service across major cities in the Sunbelt just in the first half of 2026. We're talking about places like Dallas, Phoenix, Miami, and Las Vegas being on the near-term list.
So, with all of this groundbreaking tech in the pipeline, what happens next? What are the key things we should all be watching for in 2026 to see if this massive, company-defining bet is actually starting to pay off?
Okay, so the plan for 2026 is pretty simple. It is all about execution. They're going to focus on squeezing every last bit of production out of their existing factories, and they state very clearly that they expect to start making serious money not just from selling hardware, but from AI, software, and fleet services. And most importantly, they've put firm dates on their biggest projects. Cybercab, Semi, and those first Optimus production lines are all slated for 2026. This next year is when the pivot has to become real.
So, what's the big takeaway here? It's that Tesla is no longer just a car company playing around with software. It's an AI company making a massive bet that the future is all about autonomy. They're risking their dominant position in the electric car market on the belief that the intelligence is ultimately more valuable than the machine it's in. So the big question for Tesla is no longer, can they sell enough cars? The real question now is, will this monumental pivot pay off?